Good morning, 6:03, Robert and Erin. It's 101.7 FM, 710 KEEL. Erin has local news in just a moment or so.
Protesters gather in front of the Caddo Courthouse. We'll tell you why. It's back to the books for Caddo students. That's coming up, too. And relatives and community members say goodbye to a child.
I know you're going to find this hard to believe. I know this is going to be hard to comprehend, to picture in your mind, but CNN and MSNBC are telling me that I am a horrible, horrible human being. I know you're going to find that hard to believe, but I will discuss in a couple of details. And Ezekiel Elliott, we got to talk about that, too.
Yeah.
Plus, Fletcher in sports and traffic and weather, and it's all coming up this hour, and it's right here on KEEL.
The KEEL Morning Report, now on 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL.
More than 75 people gathered last night on the sidewalk in front of the Caddo Courthouse for a vigil in honor of those hurt and killed in Charlottesville, Virginia. Those at the event say they gathered to counter the message of hate and bigotry expressed by the white nationalists in Virginia. It's back to the books for Caddo students. Superintendent Dr. Lamar Gorey tells KEEL News it's good news for teachers this year.
5% pay raise across the board, all employees, and no insurance increase.
School bells will be ringing this morning. Motorcycle crash in Webster Parish leaves one dead. Matt Parker with that.
Larry Dillon has died after he wrecked his motorcycle on Elmer Moore Road just north of Highway 160 Sunday night. According to state troopers, Dillon left the roadway and hit a wooden cross tie. He was not wearing a helmet at the time of the crash and was pronounced dead at the scene. Impairment is suspected to be a factor in the wreck. From 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL, I'm Matt Parker.
More than 100 relatives, friends, and community members gathered at Winfield Funeral Home to pay final respects to Deshaun Combest, the 7-year-old boy who tragically died after being swept away in a drainage ditch August 3rd. A GoFundMe account was set up to help pay for the family's expenses. The Professional Firefighters Credit Union also set up an account to help the family. An Alexandria man has died after contracting West Nile virus. Health officials urge the public, protect yourself. Dr. David Holcomb with the Office of Public Health says the virus is transmitted by household mosquitoes that are common in our state, but there are ways you can keep the bugs away.
Clean up their yards, get rid of any standing water, wear long sleeves, and use DEET or some other repellent during any time that they're outside.
A 10-member panel will look to ensure the long-term financial stability of TOPS. Since the program began in '98, the state has spent $2.6 billion on students. However, with rising costs and continuing budget woes, funding the program is becoming more and more difficult. A joint group of state lawmakers forecasting a fiscal cliff of $1.5 billion for the next budget year. However, many lawmakers feel that projection is much higher than the actual number. Officials say the majority of the shortfall is due to a penny sales tax expiring. A newly formed PAC supporting cops in the state is trying to get the word out about who they are and what they're about. Chris Stewart is executive director of the Louisiana Law Enforcement PAC. He says their group plans to tackle matters that affect police officers statewide.
From the legislative issues to elections to just general basic information that the public can't get from officers because of restrictions that they have them.
The glitzy 90th birthday bash for Louisiana's four-term former Governor Edwin Edwards drew a packed house, including the state's current chief executive and other elected officials. It was a $250 per ticket event, drew more than 500 people. Next week's stunning solar eclipse in the U.S. will generate as much science as oohs and ahs. From the discovery of helium to proving Einstein right, great science often comes out of eclipses. NASA and others will monitor this eclipse with an armada of satellites, airplanes, balloons, and citizen scientists looking up from the ground. Cloudy today, the high temp close to 93, 76 now. I'm Erin McCarty from 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL.
Dr. Lamar Gorey, get your feet up, couple of beers, hanging out.
You know, this year, most of my summer, I'd say we had a really good vacation with the family, but we stopped.
Good morning, 9 past 6 o'clock, 101.7 FM, 710 KEEL. Traffic update starting us off. It's a brand new week. Here's Ruben.
Looks like I-49 South's got it clear all the way to Alexandria right now, but look out a little later on this morning for some traffic delays on I-220 eastbound near North Market due to construction. If you have any accidents, hazards, or closures to report to us, please give us a call at our Planet Fitness traffic hotline, 687-ROAD.
Your AccuWeather.com forecast. Cloudy to partly sunny today. A shower or thunderstorm around early in the day. High 92. Warm with some clouds and a low of 76 tonight. With your AccuWeather.com forecast, I'm meteorologist Heather Zayer.
From both the faculty and the student body.
We are done together and are truly educators and children are than I hoped, because
Better than anybody could have hoped. Do you agree with that?
My fourth opening of schools in Caddo. We have several. You know, we're so excited about the school year and what it. You know, we're so excited about the school year and what it's to bring.
You know, it just never occurred to me all those years I was actually in school that as the end of summer vacation approached, isn't it interesting that school ends in spring and then goes back in summer? Isn't that odd?
Why?
The school year ends during spring. We don't end school in summer. We end school. The school year ends in the spring and then begins in the middle of summer.
What is so big about that? I don't get it.
School, there's supposed to be summer vacation. We don't have summer vacation anymore. We never really did. I mean, at least in the old days, school started around Labor Day, maybe even after. Mm-hmm. Now school ends in the spring, i.e. before Memorial Day or right around.
Yep.
And then resumes in what literally calendar-wise is the beginning of summer. Mm-hmm. I mean, the middle of summer.
Yep. And Caddo going back today. They're like 2 weeks after most people.
That's what I mean.
I mean, those kids have been sitting home for a little while.
So DeSoto and who else has been going for like 10 days now?
Bozier's been going for a while. Webster, I think.
And on Friday morning, we chatted with Caddo Superintendent Dr. Lamar Gorey about the new school year. And question number one was, big changes, everything going smooth. Give us sort of a summary, a state of the a state of the school district summation.
You know, we're so excited about the school year and what it's to bring. We have several initiatives, mostly, that we're excited about. And, you know, this is my fourth opening of schools in Caddo Parish. So, you know, if you look at a lot of research around those first 3 years of this type work, setting the groundwork, and just excited about the many things that will come. You know, when you look at that this is the first year we'll open as a fully advanced ed accredited district, looking at us continuing the work within our STEM initiative in our 10 pilot schools, our virtual school, and really excited about Transformation Next and the full implementation of TAP within 14 of our Transformation Zone schools. And in that respect, I'll say this: if you talk to my friend Dr. Brumley down in DeSoto, he'll tell you that one of the things that certainly made a huge difference in the academic success of that district is TAP. So we're excited to kind of follow the lead of DeSoto there.
One of the big, let's say, off-season controversies is the merging of Fair Park and BTW. From what I hear from both the faculty and the student body, things are going way better than anybody could have hoped. Do you agree with that?
I won't say they're going better than I hoped, because I know how resilient educators and children are. They are doing exactly what I expected. They have come together and are truly forming a beautiful body in both of those schools. I was able to attend the open house at Booker T. Washington earlier in the weekend. It was amazing to see the children come together and form one BTW, and at the same time we are done extensive renovations and preparations to receive middle schoolers at Fair Park. And, I certainly sympathize with those people that, were educated at Fair Park as high school students, but we're so excited that the tradition of educating children will continue in that historic building. So Fair Park Middle will be ready.
Doc, let me ask you this. Staffing is always an issue. How are we doing that? I know you got about 250 new teachers. You still need more, though, right?
So let me tell you this. We need a few more, but we are better than we have ever been in this area. And as long as we are in a large urban district, we're going to be fighting. And if you look at no urban district has beat that game yet. So we are hoping to be the first. But as long as we're in a large urban district, we're going to be fighting to get people. But you were so excited within our most struggling schools. And first of all, let me compliment the school board, too, in that they passed the first incentive pay and really recognize that the equity issue is different in a district of this size. So in that respect, though, we have those Transformation Zone schools, which generally are our hardest to staff schools. All of them are staffed anywhere from 93 to 100% with fully certified staff. Did not take a vacation day the entire month of June, because all efforts, all hands on deck were focused on staffing those schools, and we're really excited about that.
Saw an article a couple of days ago, in fact, it may have been yesterday, about Louisiana statewide ACT scores are up. I didn't get a chance to look at the parish breakdown. What can you tell me?
We're up. We've gone up every year consistently over the last 3 years. We're above the state, so we are seeing increase in that measure that we all know truly does matter. So very excited about that. One of the higher scores in the region, actually. So really excited about that average ACT score of our students, and look to continue to see that improve. Our high schools are just doing amazing. We really do believe, again, that everything's still preliminary, and preliminary data, when you go to all online testing, can be shaky and can be different. But we do believe where we're going to see some of our most impressive growths will be in our high schools.
The testing for fifth graders was switched, I think, to just computers.
Yes,
and
5, 6, 7, 8.
And that caused a little bit of a dip in the scores. What can Caddo do to combat that?
One thing I will tell you, though, is that one thing we're doing as a district is we're getting better at comparing ourselves to Apple. So if you look at some of our larger systems like EBR and Jefferson, we saw very consistent gains and declines. What we're doing now, though, is we have to increase opportunities for economically disadvantaged students, particularly, to be exposed to technology, so that we can make sure that we are testing in the classrooms, that we are utilizing test technology whenever possible, so that it's not something that they're unfamiliar with when faced with that in the testing setting. But that is probably the group that we're going to have to really make sure we focus on our Title I schools, and making sure that we increase technology in those schools so that the students are prepared to test on a computer.
Downsizing more. I know we still have belt tightening to do. Are you looking at anything for this next year in the Blanchard area with regard to Woodlawn? Anything else that the public needs to know about?
No, I can say that staff is looking at what we're looking at next year is our main project is starting to manage some of the vacant facilities that we have and starting to make sure that we are fulfilling the plan in our strategic plan around those schools. We are, in the process after the Fair Park situation, the summer's happened. I do plan to work with community to develop a process by which we look at schools where it won't be anyone feeling they were caught off by surprise or that we were moving too fast. But I do think that there's going to have to be some type of systematic process that's owned by the community, the diverse community, that meets those needs. But one of our big goals next year will be how do we manage what we have closed in the communities, because we are committed to do nothing that will, bring down property value or that does not bring value to a community.
Dr. Lamar Gorey, thank you so much, and good luck with Monday morning.
We are so excited. And one more thing. Can I get that one more thing in that I'm really excited about?
10 seconds, real quick.
10 seconds. 5% pay raise across the board, all employees, and no insurance increase. Come on back, employees. We have a lot of work to do.
19 past 6 o'clock. It's 101.7 FM, 710 Keel. Ruben's here.
Everything's still running nice and smooth for your early morning drive to work or school, but look out later on this morning for some traffic delays on North Spring Street and East Stoner Avenue. If you have anything to report to us, accidents, hazards, or closures, give us a call at our Planet Fitness traffic hotline, 687-ROAD.
Your AccuWeather.com forecast, a shower or thunderstorm around early. Otherwise, more clouds than sun today, high 92. Some clouds, low 76 tonight. With your AccuWeather.com forecast, I'm meteorologist Heather Zayer.
.621, it's 101.7 FM, 710 Keel. Monday Morning Sports, here's Fletch.
Good morning from the sports desk of 1130 The Tiger. This is Tim Fletcher. 24-year-old Justin Thomas began Sunday's final round of the PGA Championship 2 shots off the lead. When the sun set at Quail Thomas had rallied to win his first major championship 2 shots clear of his closest pursuers. The now 4-time winner this season was 4 under par over his final 12 holes, including a birdie that took about 10 to 12 seconds to fall from the lip into the cup on the par 5 10th hole. Francesco Molinari, Patrick Reed, and Louis Oosthuizen finished tied for second at 6 under. Ricky Fowler and Hideki Matsuyama were a shot further back. The U.S. Amateur gets underway out at Riviera and Bel Air Country Clubs on the West Coast. Local representation, Sam Burns, Nathan Johnson, and Philip Barbary Jr. are all in the field starting today. And the Houston Astros snapped a 5-game losing streak. Dallas Keuchel, the former Arkansas Razorback, struck out 7 in 6 2/3 innings. Jose Altuve homered as the Astros avoided a sweep with a 2-1 win over the Rangers. From the sports desk of 1130 The Tiger, this is Tim Fletcher.
It is 624, Robert and Erin, 1017 FM, 710 Keel. Okay, I need your attention because I need to know what you think. Tell me about what you think about Charlottesville. Just everything that happened this weekend, what do you think?
It's devastating.
What are your first impressions of what happened?
I just think there's so many extremists out there that it just is so troublesome.
In other words, basically, if you fill a town with a bunch of a-holes, there's going to be a fight.
Yeah.
From both sides.
Exactly. And I see the divide getting worse. I went to see Detroit over the weekend. And some of the things that happened, that movie's based in 1967. And some of the things I see happen in that movie, whether it's fiction or not, some will say that they stretch the truth. But I see some of that now, today.
Like what?
Some of the
and
divide.
How does that tie into Charlottesville?
When I was watching Detroit, I was watching the Danziger Bridge in New Orleans during Katrina. I thought, man, you're still going to have a bad element in every realm of life, whether it's police, whether it's, protesters for peace, whether it's, it's just
who was protesting for peace in Charlottesville?
Nobody was protesting for peace. Well, they had a group that was countering the white supremacist
Antifa,
protest.
a bunch of leftist violent
so
radicals.
It's okay to run them down?
No, I didn't say that at all. What I'm saying is when you fill a town with two sides of violent extremists, why are you surprised when people fight?
It's just sad that the divide seems to be growing and growing and getting worse. It's almost like we've turned the clock back to 1967 when we had such a divide in the country.
Does it seem odd to you that if you look on Facebook, like I saw a couple of Facebook posts yesterday, that all of a sudden it's all this, actually I saw somebody post, if you're a Nazi sympathizer, get off my page. Who's a Nazi sympathizer?
Yeah, is there somebody really out there that's a Nazi sympathizer?
I don't know anybody, but if you watch the left-wing media, we once again are expanding the definition of something. So if you watch CNN, what did I say at the top of the hour? Top of the hour tease. CNN tells me I'm a bad person. Mm-hmm. Because according to CNN, because I'm a Republican, because I am right-wing politically, because I voted for Donald Trump, as a result, I am a white nationalist extremist. And that's just, all over Facebook this weekend, you see, which side are you on? I just don't accept the template. I'm on neither side.
Right.
One side is really horrible people. The other side is really horrible people.
I know.
It's their... If you can't be surprised when you put two radical groups... You know what Skokie? Do you remember the Skokie marches in the late 60s, maybe early 70s?
No.
It was basically the Nazis marched in Skokie, Illinois. And nobody paid attention, and nobody did anything, and they just marched, and nothing happened, and they got reported on for one day. Why didn't that happen this time?
I'm not sure.
Because a whole bunch of other side people came in looking to fight.
I remember the Black Panther riots in Baton Rouge in 1972. And it was, there were people killed. There was a news reporter who was essentially left. He's been a vegetable all these years. Mm-hmm. And it was scary times. So do you feel like a Nazi sympathizer this morning? No. Nor I'll never feel like that.
And yet, you are being called, I am being called, a Nazi. Look, it's just like the term fascist.
If you really take those people seriously, then something's wrong with you.
But those are the people that are on national media every morning.
Don't watch them.
And as a result, they
don't bother me because they're idiots.
There are a lot of people, by the extrapolation of the CNNs or the MSNBCs or NBCs or CBSs of the world, by that extrapolation, look, I know a lot of really, really, really good people, you, me, Dr. Pat Day. Mm-hmm. According to CNN, Dr. Pat Day is a Nazi sympathizer this morning. And I don't believe that. Of course I don't. I know Dr. Pat any more than I think that Brian Salvatore is Antifa because he voted for Hillary Clinton. Mm-hmm. And yet the template is going to be, it is going to be an expanded, an all-inclusive tent. That's what they're going to try to do. That if you're a Republican, or if you're politically right-wing, or you voted for Trump, then you are, by association, a Nazi sympathizer.
Yeah.
And that's just
That's hogwash.
okay.
Those people can bite
But
me.
it's also hogwash that the definition of fascist has been expanded over the last 6 or 8 months or longer, that if you think the USA should have borders, that you're a bigot and a fascist and a racist. And a lot of people believe that template also.
Right.
Lots to talk about today. Ezekiel Elliott, 6 games. What do you think about that? There wasn't enough evidence to charge him with a crime, and yet he's suspended for 6 games. 629, 1017 FM, 710 Keel. It's traffic update time. Here's Ruben.
Looks like I-49 South's got it clear all the way to Alexandria right now, but look out a little later on this morning for some traffic delays on I-220 eastbound near North Market due to construction. If you have any accidents, hazards, or closures to report to us, please give us a call at our Planet Fitness traffic hotline, 687-ROAD.
Your AccuWeather.com forecast. Cloudy to partly sunny today. A shower or thunderstorm around early in the day. High 92. Warm with some clouds and a low of 76 tonight. With your AccuWeather.com forecast, I'm meteorologist Heather Zayer.
The power of information. KEEL News now.
The school bell rings in Caddo Parish today as students return to class. Superintendent Dr. Lamar Gorey telling KEEL News he does look to other districts who are doing things to keep teachers in their parishes.
Talk to my friend Dr. Brumley down in DeSoto. He'll tell you that one of the things that certainly made a huge difference in the academic success of that district is TAP. So we're excited to kind of follow the lead of DeSoto there.
TAP is a way to give teachers performance-based compensation. More than 75 people gathered last night on a sidewalk in front of the Caddo Courthouse in honor of those hurt and killed in Charlottesville, Virginia. Those at the event say they gathered to counter the message of hate and bigotry expressed by the white nationalists in Virginia. A joint group of state reps and senators forecasting a fiscal cliff of $1.5 billion for next fiscal year. However, many lawmakers feel that projection is much higher than the actual number. Panel hoping to stabilize TOPS funding. Matt Parker has that.
A 10-member panel made of both House and state members will look to ensure the long-term financial stability of TOPS. Since the program started in 1998, the state has spent $2.6 billion on students. However, with rising costs and continuing budget woes, funding the program is becoming more and more difficult. Some lawmakers want to make it tougher for students to receive a TOPS scholarship. Currently, to be awarded TOPS funding, students must achieve a 2.5 GPA. Other lawmakers want to make the program needs-based instead of merit-based. The panel will begin work on a solution September 6th. From 1017 FM and 710 Keel, I'm Matt Parker.
Family and friends say goodbye to Deshaun Combest. More than 100 relatives, friends, and community members gathered at Winfield Funeral Home to pay final respects to the child. He tragically died after being swept away in a storm ditch on August 3rd. Motorcycle crash in Webster Parish leaves 1 dead. Larry Dillon has died after he wrecked his motorcycle on Elmer Moore Road, just north of Highway 160. According to troopers, Dillon left the roadway and hit a wooden cross tie. He was not wearing a helmet at the time. Impairment is suspected. A newly formed PAC supporting cops trying to get the word out about who they are and what they're about. Chris Stewart is executive director. He says they independently support police across the state by promoting candidates for office and policies that help officers serve and protect. He says there are many ways that need to be addressed to deal with a recruiting problem.
Like pay, safety equipment needs to be improved for officers. Benefits, a pension plan needs to be in place that's solid and attracts people to it.
The American workplace is grueling, stressful, and surprisingly hostile. A new study from Harvard Medical School and UCLA finds nearly 1 in 5 workers say they face a hostile or threatening environment at work, which can include sexual harassment and bullying. Nearly 55% say they face unpleasant and potentially hazardous conditions. Maroon 5's Adam Levine teasing the audience while accepting the Decade Award at the Teen Choice Awards last night.
Thank you. Our 6th and final album is coming out in November. I'm just kidding. Man, I'm joking. We are never going to go away.
The show aired on Fox from Los Angeles. No Powerball winner over the weekend, so the jackpot climbs to $430 million, the 8th largest lottery jackpot in U.S. history. You can see the full list of the biggest jackpots at KEELnews.com. Cloudy today, the high 93, right now 76. I'm Erin McCarty on 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL.
Good morning. It's 6:36. Robert and Erin, 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL, and the KEEL app's a free download from Office Furniture Source. As you know, I tend to parse the way some news stories are written to take them apart to say, wait a second, why did they write this way?
I know where you're going.
No, you don't.
Yeah,
We'll get to that one later.
Okay.
No, the Harvard study on the workplace.
Yeah.
Read that one again.
The American workplace is grueling, stressful, and surprisingly hostile. A new study from Harvard and UCLA
Okay, slow down and pay attention to what you're about to read.
Found nearly 1 in 5 workers say they face a hostile or threatening environment at work.
Oh, no. Okay, let's break that down. What did that mean? Wait a second. Let's assume for the moment that's true.
Okay.
Okay?
True.
How many people in America, according to what you just read, are unhappy at their jobs?
20%.
Fewer than 1 in 5. So let's say 16, 17, 18%. Okay?
1 in 5 is 20%.
20%. It says fewer than 1 in 5.
Okay.
Okay, so it's not 20%. It's 17 or 18%.
No, a study found
That
nearly
fewer
1 in,
than 1 in
nearly
5.
1 in 5.
Okay, so it's less than 20%.
Okay.
Okay, so let's rewrite the story and put a positive spin on it. A Harvard University study has shown that more than 80% of workers in America are happy on the job.
No, because there's another percentage here. Nearly 55% say they face unpleasant and potentially hazardous conditions.
What?
3/4 say they spend at least a fourth of their time on the job in intense or repetitive physical labor.
Well, yeah, that's called working outdoors.
Only 38% say their jobs offer good prospects for advancement.
So people who perform physical tasks on the job, 100% of physical, those are mostly repetitive.
Yeah.
If you're a roofer.
Move this widget here.
If you're a roofer, what do you do all day?
You tear shingles up and you nail shingles back down.
Repetitive task.
Mm-hmm.
Is that necessarily bad? They're portraying the job that people do. Your job is repetitive. You do the same thing every day, basically. We put a different spin on things, but the process of putting this show together is basically like roofing, except we're not outdoors and it's not, well, it's August.
It's Groundhog Day in here sometimes.
Sure, of course. But basically what that says is that fewer than 1 in 5 people are dissatisfied with their jobs. Face hostile. That's pretty good. More than 80%, more than 4 out of 5 of America. Turn it around.
Nearly 55% say they face unpleasant and potentially hazardous conditions.
How do you think how do you think?
I don't know. It's UCLA and Harvard. Who knows?
My point exactly.
Who knows?
How do you think they phrased? How do you think they framed?
All I know is here's where I'm going to go off. Because 10 years ago, 15 years ago, people didn't whine in the hallways at work if you said something that might be off color, or if you let out a foul word, or
so you see the politically
people
correct
are
culture.
Whiny.
You see the politically correct culture taking over the workplace at all levels.
This is going to hurt the feelings of some millennials, but they're whiny. To their core, they're whiny. I don't like that. That hurts my feelings. Well, go get another damn job, you little wuss.
Let's make a jump here. What does that have to do with Charlottesville?
Ooh, I don't know.
Or a lot of college campuses, for that matter. If your speech, if your political, if your ideas, if your speech can be defined as violent, i.e. you are invading my safe space, you are threatening, it's a trigger warning. If your speech, no matter what you say, can be defined as quote unquote violent, then responding with violence is justified. In other words, if you say, I think I am overtaxed, I voted for Donald Trump.
Yeah.
So if someone can take the words, I voted for Donald Trump, and twist that by their own political indoctrination, that's hate speech and violent speech, I have trigger warnings, my safe space is being invaded, then if I hit you with a pipe, that's justified.
See, it's just gone so far. It's just gone so far. They make me crazy.
639, 101.7 FM, 710 Keel traffic update. Here's Ruben.
It is, once again, the best time of day to get from A to B because everything is all clear for your early morning drive to work or school. But look out later on this morning for some traffic delays on I-20 westbound near Spring and Market. If you have anything to report to us, please give us a call at our Planet Fitness traffic hotline, 687-ROAD.
Your AccuWeather.com forecast, a shower or thunderstorm around early. Otherwise, more clouds than sun today, high 92. Some clouds, low 76 tonight. With your AccuWeather.com forecast, I'm meteorologist Heather Zayer.
.643, it's 101.7 FM, 710 Keel. Shreveport Security Systems text line is 318-392-1884. Okay, so Ezekiel Elliott, Cowboys running back Ezekiel Elliott gets what, 6 games for a variety of misbehaviors.
Morals clause, is that what they're saying, or whatever it is? I don't know.
Let me start here, and you can, because I'll just start here. I want to get your thoughts. Ezekiel Elliott was suspended for 6 games because he was unable to prove himself innocent to the NFL front offices as opposed to them proving him guilty. Mm-hmm. Is that right?
Pretty much, yeah.
And yet, he was suspended for 6 games because of 2 accusations of domestic violence.
And he wasn't charged, right?
No. Ray Rice was never charged.
Yeah, true. Is he playing?
No, Ray Rice has not played. Oh, you're being facetious. Okay, so are we going to suspend? Now, we don't have video of Ezekiel Elliott.
No, we don't.
And in fact, I read a couple of articles this weekend that said the reason that Elliott wasn't charged was because there was a lot of evidence that the woman who had accused him was a little on the
shaky side,
a little bit shady, that she had in fact asked friends to lie for her in this case. But I ask you once again, is Ezekiel Elliott suspended because he was incapable, unable to prove himself innocent, as opposed to the NFL proving him guilty?
I think so. He's guilty kind of by just an accusation. Just the accusation being made.
Okay, since there's no charges, why did the NFL suspend him for 6 games?
They must have seen something that they believe.
Or is it a PR move?
Could be PR too. Could be. That could very well be it. I don't know. I'm just saying that.
Is Roger Goodell and the NFL hires up, are they so, I don't want to say paranoid, are they so concerned about the image of NFL players, specifically the National Football League? Are they concerned that somebody will say, you guys coddle men who are violent toward women? And at the slightest inclination, evidence or no evidence, charges or no charges,
we're going to act.
They're going to act.
Yeah, I think that could be it. That could very well be it. And I'm not sure I agree with it.
Obviously the NFL doesn't require the standard of proof be met that is required in a court of law.
Right.
Or else Ezekiel Elliott would be getting ready for his 3rd preseason game.
Yeah, like he would have played it all. I don't
But
think any of them play it all. Did Dak play it all Saturday night?
No. You didn't feel they were out of line to suspend Ray Rice?
No.
No charges filed?
No.
Now they had him on video.
Yeah, we had a little video of
You've got
Ray
the guy
Rice.
Greg Hardy, who's been suspended a bunch of times.
All I know is they must have known something inside that we're not privy to. They must have something.
What did they know?
That wasn't evidence police need.
What did they know that the police didn't have? Or did they say, nope, it kind of looks like it, and where there's smoke, there's fire? So if you're Ezekiel Elliott, what do you do? Parky, you got a thought on this. What do you think?
He should appeal. He probably will appeal.
I think he deserves the 6 games.
Why?
Well, he has, let's just take these 2 accusations out of the mix here. He's been caught on video doing inappropriate things with young ladies who weren't exactly into his actions. They just didn't press charges.
Is that a 6-gamer?
Hey, you have a history, whether you're guilty this time.
Wait. You said let's take the other 2 off the table.
Yeah, I mean, let's...
Okay, so there's a video of him from last St. Patrick's Day pulling down a woman's top. Is that a 6-game suspension?
I didn't know about that one. Yeah, that's
Is that
too much.
When she didn't file charges against him, when they were partying on the floater, wherever it was, it's not like she turned around and smacked him.
If that's your daughter that he pulled the shirt off of, wouldn't you want something done?
If
it's your daughter.
If fathers across America are going to be grand juries, there's going to be a lot more guys in jail than there are right now.
Well, it's not jail. It's a 6-game suspension, so I'd be good with that.
So the girl's father gets to decide as opposed to the woman herself. It's not like she was 15.
I understand that.
Okay, so...
But sometimes women do things they shouldn't do.
And that's the man's fault.
No, I didn't say
that.
The
NFL is a public company, a non-profit, and you have a guy like that who's representing your brand doing stupid stuff. He should be punished.
You've got an image to uphold. You can't have people that are in your business. This is a business to make money that are doing things like that.
So just to sum up,
if Matt went and did this, and we found out Matt was going around pulling women's shirts down, Town Square Media would suspend him.
What if the women giggled? What if the women turned
It
around?
doesn't matter. Does that make it okay because the woman giggled?
So, my question to you is, in summary, his pulling down the top of a woman on a, it looked like it
You
was
agree that's wrong, correct? I hope.
I
Even if she said, "Oh, that was funny."
Have you ever had your top pulled down?
Close. Yeah.
Okay. So my question to you is,
I didn't appreciate it.
should that man, what if she did? What if she didn't
It doesn't matter. Is it wrong?
Wait a second. So a sexual advancement on a woman who doesn't mind that you do it is, in your mind, criminal.
It's I didn't say criminal. I said it's still wrong. It's not upholding the brand.
It's
it's inappropriate behavior for a man to do that, whether the woman supposedly likes it or not.
649, 1017 FM, 710 Keel. Time for traffic. Here's Ruben.
Everything's still running nice and smooth for your early morning drive to work or school, but look out later on this morning for some traffic delays on North Spring Street and East Stoner Avenue. If you have anything to report to us, accidents, hazards, or closures, give us a call at our Planet Fitness Traffic Hotline, 687-ROAD.
Right now, 75, 650, your money now.
Go with your money now.
Good morning, 652. Time for sports on KEEL.
Good morning from the sports desk of 1130 The Tiger. This is Tim Fletcher. 24-year-old Justin Thomas began Sunday's final round of the PGA Championship 2 shots off the lead. When the sun set at Quail Thomas had rallied to win his first major championship 2 shots clear of his closest pursuers. The now 4-time winner this season was 4 under par over his final 12 holes, including a birdie that took about 10 to 12 seconds to fall from the lip into the cup on the par 5 10th hole. Francesco Molinari, Patrick Reed, and Louis Oosthuizen finished tied for second at 6 under. Ricky Fowler and Hideki Matsuyama were a shot further back. The U.S. Amateur gets underway out at Riviera and Bel Air Country Clubs on the West Coast. Local representation, Sam Burns, Nathan Johnson, and Philip Barbary Jr. are all in the field starting today. And the Houston Astros snapped a 5-game losing streak. Dallas Keuchel, the former Arkansas Razorback, struck out 7 in 6 2/3 innings. Jose Altuve homered as the Astros avoided a sweep with a 2-1 win over the Rangers. From the sports desk of 1130 The Tiger, this is Tim Fletcher.
655, 1017 FM, 710 Keel. Zeke was going for second base. I mean, and evidently he made it. So is that worth a 6-game suspension?
In the view of the NFL people who are in charge, yes. I'd be with them.
A history of the same behavior. That the 2 accusations of domestic violence, the video of him second basing the girl on St. Patrick's Day, that sounded icky, I apologize. And do you think that the bar fight had anything to do with it?
It's probably his whole problem set in toto.
656, 1017 FM, 710 Keel. Here's Rush.
Big left-wing publication, the Daily Beast, is very, very worried. They think the Democrats are mobilized like never before, but they still might blow it in the 2018 midterms. They tick off the Democrats' pluses, supposedly, such as Trump's low approval ratings, a Russian scandal, and the Democrats getting help from Republicans to defeat the Obamacare repeal. With all of that going for them, they should be sitting pretty. But here are the problems. They're worried the scandal involving Debbie Blabbermouth Schultz and her IT guy from Pakistan could blow up. They're more worried about fundraising. It's bad. In May, Republicans kicked the snot out of the DNC, and Democrat fundraising numbers haven't been this low since 2003. And then there's the infighting. The crazy Bernie wing of the party is determined to teach the establishment Hillary Democrats another lesson in 2018. And the Democrats have had bad luck on special elections. The last big one, Pajama Boy John Ossoff in Georgia. He had loving coverage from the drive-bys all over the world. He had tons of money, and he still lost. And just recently, the Democrat governor of West Virginia switched to Republican. And in case you haven't noticed, the economy is starting to really hum. So if you put it all together, the Democrats should be worried about blowing it. Nobody wants what they have anyway. Despite the anti-Trump Republican establishment, the Democrats are in heap big trouble, and they do know it. There is a common assumption about identity theft. A lot of people believe it's just credit card fraud, but that is not the only form of identity theft. There are cases of information being sold on the dark web, or somebody getting an online payday loan in your name. Now, good thing there's LifeLock, folks. They use proprietary technology to detect and alert you on a wide range of identity threats. If you have a problem, a U.S.-based identity restoration specialist will work to fix it. No one can prevent all identity theft or monitor all transactions in all businesses. Join right now and get a special 15% discount off the first year of your LifeLock membership. Call 800-440-4833 or go to lifelock.com and use the promo code RUSH15. That's RUSH15. That's how you save 15% off your first year. The offer ends on the 27th of August. Terms apply. 800-440-4833.
Keeping an eye right now on some slow-moving traffic at the intersection of Hearn Avenue and Greenwood Road. And those school zone lights are on and the school buses are out. Please use caution when driving around the school zones. If you have anything to report to us, please give us a call at our Planet Fitness Traffic Hotline, 687-ROAD.
Here's your KeelAccuWeather.com forecast. Kind of cloudy, maybe a little sunshine today, but cloudy and highs in the low 90s. Small chance of rain right now, 76 at Keel.
Breaking news and trending talk. This is 1017 FM and 710 Keel. KEEL, Shreveport.
A vigil in Virginia. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox.
703 Robert and Erin, 1017 FM, 710 Keel. Erin has local news, and she's getting ready right now.
Back to school today for Caddo students. There was a protest at the Caddo courthouse, and Coach O talking about how the Tigers looking.
We had a nice little celebration, 21st birthday, 21st anniversary celebration, Saturday evening.
Friday evening.
Friday evenings. Not too many details about that. Are
Nope.
you? No.
No.
But a couple of folks did remind me of Robert and Erin great moments.
Ah.
We will review a couple of those.
Okay.
You'll remember when I tell you, plus traffic and weather. Let's see. And Fletcher has sports this hour, all on Keel.
The Keel Morning Report, now on 1017 FM and 710 Keel.
School back in session today in Caddo Parish. Superintendent Dr. Lamar Gorey telling Keel News he has good news for the new school year.
Accredited district, looking at us continuing the work within our STEM initiative in our 10 pilot schools, our virtual school, and really excited about Transformation Next and the full implementation of TAP.
TAP is a performance-based pay initiative for teachers. Motorcycle crash in Webster Parish leaves one dead. Larry Dillon has died after he wrecked his motorcycle on Elmer Moore Road just north of Highway 160 Sunday night. According to troopers, Dillon left the roadway and hit a wooden cross tie. He was not wearing a helmet at the time of the crash and was pronounced dead at the scene. Impairment is suspected to be a factor in the wreck. A 10-member panel will look to ensure the long-term financial stability of TOPS. Since it began in 98, the state has spent $2.6 billion. However, with rising costs and continuing budget woes, funding the program is tough. Some lawmakers want to make it tougher for students to get a TOPS scholarship. Currently, to be awarded TOPS money, students must achieve a 2.5 GPA. Other lawmakers want to make the programs needs-based instead of merit-based. The state to face a massive budget shortfall. Matt Parker has that.
A joint group of state representatives and senators are forecasting a fiscal cliff of $1.5 billion for the next budget year. However, many lawmakers feel that projection is much higher than the actual number. Officials say the majority of the shortfall is due to a penny sales tax expiring. The rest can be attributed to rising state expenses, including salaries and education. Governor John Bell Edwards' chief budget advisor Jay Darden says that he believes the shortfall is closer to $1.1 billion and that he and the governor are preparing to make massive cuts if lawmakers can't find a solution. From 1017 FM and 710 Keel, I'm Matt Parker.
More than 75 people gathered last night on the sidewalk in front of the Caddo courthouse in honor of those hurt and killed in Charlottesville, Virginia. Those at the event say they gathered to counter the message of hate and bigotry. Now, a close friend of the woman who was killed when the car plowed into peaceful protesters says she was with Heather Heyer when she was killed Saturday. Marissa Blair says the driver of the car barreled down and she could hear the wheels as he accelerated. Blair attended a Sunday night vigil at the site of the crash. An Alexandria man has died after contracting West Nile virus, and health officials are urging the public to protect themselves against mosquitoes. Dr. David Holcomb with the Office of Public Health says 71-year-old Donald Austin died last week. His family says he got sick a couple of weeks ago, but they thought it was the flu. Holcomb says that's not surprising because for most people, West Nile virus is completely asymptomatic.
90% of people who are actually become infected with West Nile are not even aware that they got sick. So most people are asymptomatic.
Dr. Austin says the virus is transmitted by household mosquitoes that are common in Louisiana, but there are ways you can keep the pesky bugs away. One way is to keep the water away from your house. LSU football coach Ed Orgeron says the offense dominated in the team's second preseason game of training camp Saturday, but he says there were some standout performances on defense, too.
Glenn Logan, his first good scrimmage, had 4 tackles, 1 sack, 2 tackles for a loss, a forced fumble, and 1 quarterback pressure. Greg Gilmore had 4 tackles, 1 sack, 1 tackle for a loss. Joshua Kirkland showed up today with 4 tackles, and Tyler Taylor had 3. Grant Talbot had a long touchdown reception for a touchdown, 1 TD. Young guys continue to play very, very well.
Quarterbacks Danny Etling and Miles Brennan each threw for over 100 yards. Mostly cloudy today with our high temp close to about 93 degrees. Right now, 76. I'm Erin McCarty on 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL.
That this is the first year we'll open as a fully advanced ed accredited district, looking at us continuing the work within our STEM initiative in our 10 pilot schools, our virtual school, and really, really excited about Transformation Next and the full implementation of TAP.
Nine past 7 o'clock at 101.7 FM, 710 KEEL. Monday morning traffic. It's Ruben.
The intersection of Kings Highway and Linwood Avenue is dealing with some slow-moving traffic right now. And we have some traffic delays on I-220 eastbound near North Market due to construction. If you know something we don't, accidents, hazards, or closures, give us a call at our Planet Fitness traffic hotline, 687-ROAD.
Your AccuWeather.com forecast. Cloudy to partly sunny today. A shower or thunderstorm around early in the day. High 92. Warm with some clouds and a low of 76 tonight. With your AccuWeather.com forecast, I'm meteorologist Heather Zayer.
Twelve past 6 o'clock. Robert and Erin, 101.7 FM, 710 KEEL. If you had said to me that Erin's impersonation of Coach Orgeron was good.
Sorry about that.
I would have said, no, it's horrible.
It's not. It is excellent.
And not only would I say it was horrible, I would have said it's really irritating.
No.
Then in the last newscast, you had the story with Coach O.
Yeah.
And you had the soundbite. And all during the Coach O soundbite when your mic was off, you were mimicking
I was. Sorry,
the
O.
LSU football boss.
Love O.
And it dawned on me that despite the fact it's still irritating.
Yep.
It's really not all that bad.
It's pretty good.
So if you have the Coach O soundbite, if you would like to play that again, and this time for people, they can listen to him, but you at the same time can sort of weave your Coach O magic.
Okay, I can
in
do that.
and out so people can see. Matt, you're shaking your head.
This is a terrible idea. I do not endorse this whatsoever.
He votes against this.
Just on the 1 to 10 scale, though. I mean, admittedly, it's really annoying. And when she does it, you want to choke her with piano wire. I'll give you that. But that doesn't mean it's bad.
I will say this. Compared to her other impressions and voices she does,
this is the best one she's got.
She's Robert De Niro.
You're right.
You are.
At least it's not Coach O Vampire.
This is a game for you.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter what the Coach O soundbite is about.
No, it won't matter.
It doesn't matter the reference, or it doesn't matter the frame, the topic.
It's Coach O.
Are you ready to go?
I'm ready. It hurts my voice, though.
This was a terrible idea. What idiot came up with this idea?
This would be you.
Oh, me.
Glenn Logan, his first good scrimmage, had 4 tackles, 1 sack, 2 tackles for a loss, a forced fumble, and 1 quarterback pressure. Greg Gilmore had 4 tackles, 1 sack, 1 tackle for a loss. John Trey Kirkland showed up today with 4 tackles.
Proud of him.
Tyler Taylor had 3.
Yeah.
Grant Talbot had a long touchdown reception for a touchdown.
Way to go, boy.
1 TD. Young guys continue to play very, very well.
Oh, it looks like quarterback looking really good.
You know what I want to happen more than anything in the world right now? I want Erin McCarty as Coach O to call the real Coach O and have a conversation with Coach O in her Coach O voice.
Honestly, I'd like to do what I said a couple of seconds ago about it being such an awesome impression. It is a great impression, but not of Ed Orgeron. It's a great impression of Della Reese in Harlem Nights.
Oh, God.
Right before Eddie Murphy shoots off her pinky toe.
I was going to call Coach O this morning. You guys said don't do it.
I think that's probably the best
Because
idea.
see, we're in trouble with Coach O.
For what?
Well, the last time we called him, I asked him what color underwear he had on. Because I had my purple on, and I'm making sure.
Yeah.
You know, you're coaching LSU. You got to have purple drawers.
Let me see if I understand this correctly. Okay, just to clarify.
I don't think he's been asked that before.
Just to clarify, you, the woman who less than 30 minutes ago endorsed the National Football League suspension of Ezekiel Elliott for going to second base with that girl on St. Patrick's Day, also is the same woman that asked a Division I football coach at one of the top 10 programs in America what color underwear he was wearing.
I didn't pull his drawers down.
16 past 7 o'clock, 101.7 FM, 710 Keel. Back to your newscast. If you would be so kind as to repeat the story about, once again, the state of Louisiana is approaching a deadly fiscal cliff. We'll talk about this for about a minute and a half and then carry it over to the next segment because I've got a couple of ideas I want to throw at you.
Yeah, fiscal cliff could be as high as $1.5 billion with a B. Many lawmakers, though, feel that projection is much higher than the actual number.
Right.
Officials say the majority of the shortfall is due to the penny sales tax expiring. The rest can be attributed to
here's the interesting part.
Rising state expenses.
Okay, so let me...
including salaries and education. Why are we raising salaries?
That's what I wanted to touch on.
Holy cannolis.
Imagine that you go to your boss. Imagine theoretically, you work for a company like, I don't know, I was going to say the post office, a company that is in some degree of fiscal trouble. Let's say theoretically and theoretically only that our town square media is $1 billion in the hole.
Yep.
And you go to them and you demand a raise. You say, I need more of your money. They say, why? And you say, because I plan to spend more money next year. Well, you haven't spent it yet. No. But I'm going to spend more money. I'm going to spend way more. Isn't that what they're saying?
Pretty much, yeah.
So it's not what we're spending now.
Yeah.
It's we've got to have more tax money.
Because expenses are going up.
Because we are going to need it down the line. Look, here's a perfect example, and you know what? We'll go to break. I'll touch on this when we get back because this ties in circuitously to Mitch Landrieu this past weekend in New Orleans explaining why none of the pumps worked to get rid of the flood water.
Don't get me started on old Mitchie.
It's the people's fault. The people of New Orleans are to blame because they're not giving Mitch Landrieu and city government in New Orleans enough of their money.
The governor needs to get the ice pick out, punch another hole in the belt, and tighten it up some more.
18 past 7 o'clock, 101.7 FM, 710 KEEL traffic update in just a couple of seconds on KEEL. Nineteen past 7 o'clock, 101.7 FM, 710 KEEL traffic time. Ruben.
Keeping an eye right now on some slow-moving traffic at the intersection of Hearn Avenue and Greenwood Road. And those school zone lights are on and the school buses are out. Please use caution when driving around the school zones. If you have anything to report to us, please give us a call at our Planet Fitness traffic hotline, 687-ROAD.
Your AccuWeather.com forecast, a shower or thunderstorm around early. Otherwise, more clouds than sun today, high 92. Some clouds, low 76 tonight. With your AccuWeather.com forecast, I'm meteorologist Heather Zayer.
20 past 7 o'clock, KEEL Sports.
Good morning from the sports desk of 1130 The Tiger. This is Tim Fletcher. 24-year-old Justin Thomas began Sunday's final round of the PGA Championship 2 shots off the lead. When the sun set at Quail Thomas had rallied to win his first major championship 2 shots clear of his closest pursuers. The now 4-time winner this season was 4 under par over his final 12 holes, including a birdie that took about 10 to 12 seconds to fall from the lip into the cup on the par 5 10th hole. Francesco Molinari, Patrick Reed, and Louis Oosthuizen finished tied for second at 6 under. Ricky Fowler and Hideki Matsuyama were a shot further back. The U.S. Amateur gets underway out at Riviera and Bel Air Country Clubs on the West Coast. Local representation, Sam Burns, Nathan Johnson, and Philip Barbary Jr. are all in the field starting today. And the Houston Astros snapped a 5-game losing streak. Dallas Keuchel, the former Arkansas Razorback, struck out 7 in 6 2/3 innings. Jose Altuve homered as the Astros avoided a sweep with a 2-1 win over the Rangers. From the sports desk of 1130 The Tiger, this is Tim Fletcher.
1017 FM 710 Keel. The Shreveport Security Systems text line is 318-392-1884. Don't you going to sneeze?
No, I'm a little bit concerned about the eclipse, which is a week from today.
Let's come back to that. Finish
Okay,
up
we
talking
need
about
to.
state budget. We'll
Yeah.
talk about that at a little bit later this hour because you were the one who so brilliantly said, "Is it tonight?" And
It's not tonight.
It's not tonight. In fact, it's not.
What time next Monday night?
I don't mean to go out on a scientific limb here, but it may not even be at night.
Oh, it's not?
No.
Okay. Is that a lunar eclipse?
Lunar eclipse at night.
Is at night.
Yeah.
Solar eclipse.
Daytime.
Why is it in the daytime?
Beg your pardon?
Why is it in the daytime?
We'll talk about that later when we have
Okay.
more time.
All right.
Okay. We'll walk through it step by step.
Okay,
there.
you'll help me understand.
We'll do a good job there, Bill
Okay,
Nye. I won't let
good.
you down.
All right.
Okay. So I found this quote this week. Okay, you've got the story in the news in your last newscast about
Fiscal cliff, $1.5 billion. The penny sales tax is going away. The rest of the problem attributed to rising state expenses, including salaries and education.
Why do they get to raise their expenses?
They shouldn't.
Exactly.
Do you think if we were cutting back, if they said Shreveport's radio market here, we've lost blah,
If
blah,
we worked for a company that was $1 billion in the hole,
and we went down there and said we want new microphones, we want new chairs, they'd say no.
if I said I need a raise, not because of what my expenses are, but because next year I'm going to increase my expenses, I need a raise so I can increase the cost of my life.
Take it out of your paperclip fund is what I say.
Okay. So this will tie into that. This last weekend, because they had the big, in fact, it is a brewing scandal in New Orleans about the fact that none of the pumps worked, or a whole bunch of the pumps, the flood pumps, the turbines weren't working, despite the fact that all these city officials went out at press conferences and said, we're operating at top capacity. Then a whole bunch of TV people go down. Yes, they should have called Twin City Appliance.
Exactly.
Oh, that's the hook for the next commercial.
You
Don't
bet.
forget. It's coming up later. Twin City Appliance, if they'd been in New Orleans, the streets would be dry.
Exactly. Could have fixed them.
So all these city guys in New Orleans are coming out at press conferences saying we are operating at 100% capacity. Some TV people go to a bunch of places where the pumps are. Lights are
video.
off. Lights are off.
Gates are padlocked.
And they're padlocked. So Mayor Landrieu in New Orleans this weekend does an interview with WWL. I'll just read from the website. Mitch Landrieu's latest round of blame places the fault of the city's decrepit drainage system on the citizens of New Orleans. In an interview this weekend, now, as I sort of tell this story, I want you to think about, in fact, I'm going to tell you what to think about. And when you get it, you can go, whoa, when the light goes off, okay?
Okay.
D-O-T-D. Just have that in the back of your mind.
Got it.
Landrieu's latest round, blah, 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 city's decrepit drainage system on the citizens of New Orleans. In an interview with WWL, here's what the mayor said. First of all, when the city asked the public to pass a partial fee because we didn't have money for drainage, the public said no. That's what began stressing the system out and the level of deferred maintenance. So, Landrieu is telling the people of New Orleans the reason we had a flood is not because none of the pumps worked, because none of the people, because the money that was allocated for pump maintenance mysteriously vanished. It's because you weren't giving us enough of your tax dollars.
You should have voted yes. Here's what we get because you voted no. You bad citizens, you. You should have voted yes.
So what?
Now we're going to flood you out.
What did I tell you to keep in the back of your mind?
D-O-T-D.
What do we keep hearing from the state about Louisiana roads?
They're in bad shape and we need more money to fix them.
Right.
If you don't give us more money to fix them, roads are just going to get worse.
Sean Wilson has told us repeatedly a minimum of $600 million a year are needed just to maintain the roads we have, just to keep them bad.
Yep, got a backlog of projects to the tune of $13 billion.
Just to keep the roads lousy.
We need $600 million.
Is going to be $600 million a year.
Ugh.
Does that sound? Does Mayor Landrieu sound like the state DOTD in microcosm? Microcosm. I slurred a little bit. I apologize. A little boxing
Except
this
the
weekend.
problem with that is that New Orleans residents have been paying taxes. We haven't raised the gas tax in 30 years. If you look at New Orleans voters,
we should be proud of that.
I know.
Look
I think
and
it's
see-
a good thing.
Look and see how much money goes to the DOT.
But I bet you there's way
And
more money going
every
into New Orleans.
time,
Way more
way
waste.
more money disappearing. And
Yeah.
every time you
Look
ask,
in the freezers. That's what I'm saying.
every time you ask somebody with state government, for example, we've asked Cedric Glover, we've asked politicians on the right and the left, liberal and conservative, from Alan Seabaugh to Cedric Glover, how much money of each, how much of all the money from the state gas tax goes to roads specifically? And nobody can seem to tell you.
Nobody knows.
Nobody seems to know.
That's true.
How many times has the DOTD been referred to as a black hole of money?
A lot of times.
729, 1017. And yet, over and over again, the stance is if you, Erin McCarty, think you should keep more of your money, if you think you have a right to your paycheck, you are to blame for Louisiana's lousy fill in the blank. 729, 1017 FM, 710 Keel traffic update. Here it comes. Ruben's here.
Keeping an eye on some slow-moving traffic on Common Street near Texas Street in downtown Shreveport. And we have some traffic delays on Airline Drive near Barksdale Boulevard in Bossier City. If you know something we don't, accidents, hazards, or closures, give us a call at our Planet Fitness traffic hotline, 687-ROAD.
Your AccuWeather.com forecast. Cloudy to partly sunny today. A shower or thunderstorm around early in the day. High 92. Warm with some clouds and a low of 76 tonight. With your AccuWeather.com forecast, I'm meteorologist Heather Zayer.
Hey, architects. The power of information. KEEL News now.
People gathering outside the White House last night in a show of solidarity with the victims in Charlottesville, Virginia.
We say hell no! We say hell no!
More than 75 people gathered last night on the sidewalk in front of the Caddo Courthouse for a vigil in honor of those hurt and killed in Charlottesville, Virginia. Motorcycle crash in Webster Parish leaves one dead. Larry Dillon has died after he wrecked his motorcycle on Elmer Moore Road, just north of Highway 160. Impairment suspected to be a factor. Family and friends say goodbye to Deshaun Combest. Matt Parker with that.
More than 100 relatives, friends, and community members gathered at the Winfield Funeral Home in Shreveport to pay their final respects to Deshaun Combest, the 7-year-old boy who tragically died after being swept away in a storm ditch on August 3rd. A GoFundMe account was set up to help pay for the family's expenses. The Professional Firefighters Credit Union also set up an account that helped the family during their time of need. From 1017 FM and 710 Keel, I'm Matt Parker.
Panel hopes to stabilize TOPS funding. 10-member panel made of both House and Senate leaders will look to ensure the long-term financial stability of TOPS. The state has spent $2.6 billion on students since the program began in '98. The fiscal cliff is still a huge concern. It could be as high as $1.5 billion, but officials say the majority of the shortfall is due to a penny sales tax expiring. Rest of the money can be attributed to rising state expenses, including salaries and education. An Alexandria man has died after contracting West Nile virus, and health officials are urging the public to protect themselves against mosquitoes. Dr. David Holcomb with the Office of Public Health says about 9% of people get a low fever and 1% get a neuroinvasive disease. Most of the people who get the fatal illness are elderly. So far this year, 19 cases have been reported in the state. Holcomb says that could mean we'll have a more active season this year.
This year is starting a little early, and it's impossible to predict, but we may have a worse season this year than last.
The virus is transmitted by household mosquitoes that are common in Louisiana. LSU football coach Ed Orgeron says the offense dominated in the team's second preseason game of training camp. He talked about the quarterback's jobs.
Miles did practice a couple of snaps with the first team today. Did well. I thought the offensive line blocked very well. In the run game, our protection was a little shabby today. We went to a 2-minute drill at the end. The protection wasn't what we needed. In a sense of urgency, wasn't there. It was there on the defense, but wasn't there on offense.
Quarterbacks Danny Etling and Miles Brennan each threw for over 100 yards. Partly cloudy today with a high temp close to 93 degrees. Right now, 78. I'm Erin McCarty on 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL.
.101.7 FM 710 KEEL. KEEL app's a free download presented by Office Furniture Source. Robert J. Wright, Erin McCarty. Dr. Richard Mansour is Director of Adult Sickle Cell Clinic at LSU Health. Hey, Doc, how are you this morning?
Fine, thank you.
I guess as just like an old white guy, my only sense of sickle cell anemia is that it's primarily a disease that affects African Americans. Am I wrong about that?
You're correct. In this country, it's primarily a disease of African American heritage.
The Sickle Cell Symposium is happening this weekend. Tell us a little bit about the event, who will be here, and what you guys hope to accomplish.
Okay, this is a professional education event for physicians, nurses, nurse practitioners, pharmacists, social workers, licensed professional counselors, and students and interested persons. But there is continuing medical education credit afforded for all of the different categories that I mentioned. We have an invited guest speaker from the University of Illinois in Chicago who is leading one of the efforts in bone marrow transplantation to cure sickle cell disease in younger patients. And we have a diverse faculty to discuss many aspects of adult sickle cell disease care.
Now, you just said something very interesting and I think important, a cure for sickle cell in younger patients. Is this a recent breakthrough?
This is a recent breakthrough in safety of transplant from a non-affected person to another person with good outcomes. So this is a breakthrough that's evolving in the treatment of sickle cell disease.
If you can explain it to someone, a layperson similar to myself, with a degree of simplicity, why is it possible that a young person with sickle cell can be cured and, say, someone older cannot?
Well, sickle cell disease is a terrible disorder with a lot of damage to the normal organs in the body. and bone marrow transplantation is a very difficult treatment that requires a healthy set of organs in the person undergoing the transplant. So younger patients are healthier in their heart, liver, kidneys, and lungs, as opposed to adult patients who have had 20 or more years of damage to these organs.
Doc, sickle cell disease, I'm not as familiar as a lot of people that are listening to you. Is it preventable, and how?
Well, sickle cell disease is an inherited disorder in which the patient with the disease inherits a gene from each parent. So in some ways it could be prevented through genetic counseling, but on the other hand, patients with sickle cell disease today in the modern era do live into adulthood, and the average life expectancy is 45 years of age. However, they suffer many unpleasantries during their life, and these difficulties need to be recognized and treated compassionately with the best modern therapy.
Sickle Cell Symposium going on this Saturday at LSU Health Science Foundation. Contact the med school if you're interested in registering, or if you know a doctor that wants to sit in, huh?
Yes, absolutely. Doctors, nurses, pharmacists, professional counselors, social workers, and students of all varieties.
Thank you, Doc. We appreciate your time.
739, 1017 FM, 710
North
KEEL
Spring
traffic.
Street and East Stoner Avenue is dealing with some slow-moving traffic right now, and we have some traffic delays on Benton Road just north of I-220 in Bossier City. If you have any accidents, hazards, or closures to report to us, please give us a call at our Planet Fitness traffic hotline. That's 687-ROAD.
Your AccuWeather.com forecast. A shower or thunderstorm around early. Otherwise, more clouds than sun today. High 92. Some clouds. Low 76 tonight. With your AccuWeather.com forecast, I'm meteorologist Heather Zayer.
.741, Robert J. Wright, Erin McCarty, 1017 FM, 710 KEEL. Yes, ma'am.
I want to know about the eclipse because it's a week from tonight.
What do you want to know?
I want to know the difference between a lunar eclipse and a solar eclipse.
Well, lunar is the
moon,
and solar is the
sun.
So what do you need to know?
Well, they both involve the moon getting in front of the sun, right? Don't they?
No. What's a lunar eclipse?
Lunar eclipse is, I don't know.
Let's back up with one you might get right.
Solar eclipse.
No, wait. Okay, what is a solar eclipse?
Solar eclipse is when the moon gets between the sun and the earth.
Yes. So what is a lunar eclipse? Figure this out now. You've got this. Okay. Think of this as daylight savings time. You can logically.
Oh, when the sun gets.
Wait.
When we can't see the moon.
Wait a second. Okay. We know what a lunar eclipse is. What causes a lunar eclipse?
Why could we not see the moon?
This is going to be awesome.
Let's see.
In the worst way possible.
Something blocks our view of the moon. The sun blocks the moon?
Yes, the sun travels between the Earth and the moon. No.
Does it?
No. The moon, the sun is 93 million miles away.
What blocks our view of the moon?
Figure it out. We've got time.
What else is out there to
People
block
are
it?
screaming at you. They are spitting at
Wait,
the radio
okay,
right now.
let's
They're going,
see.
Peh!
This is awesome.
I don't know.
Think about it. You can do this.
There's nothing else between us and the moon.
Well, wait a second now. What would block the shadow of what would cover
The shadow of Earth blocks our view of the moon. Is that it?
Yes.
Did I get it right?
Yes, you did.
Wow, it took me 8 tries.
A solar eclipse is the moon passing between the Earth and the sun. A lunar eclipse is the shadow of the Earth covering the moon.
Okay. So, a lunar eclipse.
She's not raising my IQ, is she?
Yeah, we're all dropping, baby.
A lunar eclipse happens at night, right?
Yes.
So why doesn't a solar eclipse happen at night?
Oh, dear Lord.
I'm not following. Wait! Wait! I think I got it. To have a solar eclipse,
it has to be.
The sun has to be out.
Yeah, it does.
That's daytime.
But then why do people wear sunglasses at night?
Oh my. So the solar eclipse is when how's the moon and the sun out in the daytime at the same time? How's the moon going in front of the sun? It's either the moon's out there or the sun's out there. Now you're telling me they're both going to be out there? Now I'm really confused.
Here in Shreveport, it's about, is it 78% of the sun will be covered by the moon? Is it 7? Then I saw something else that said about 82%. The path starts in the northwest corner of America, and for 100% for complete blockage.
Yeah.
Sort of like your arteries. And it'll be coming down
Brain cells.
across, and the nearest place is across Tennessee.
Okay, so I need to drive to Memphis to see it?
More a little east of that. Nashville along that line from just north of Memphis across down south to Nashville and into Georgia.
Okay.
Is the 100% path.
Okay, now when I watch it next Monday day, because it's going to be the day.
Unless it's cloudy.
What do I have to watch it through? Those funky glasses?
Either get the special glasses, or, there's a lot of different ways, but for heaven's sake, don't look at the sun if, in fact, it's a clear day.
Okay, which one hurts your
see,
eyes?
actually,
Solar eclipse or lunar eclipse?
Here,
both of them?
In Shreveport, the sun only being, say, 80% covered, there will be enough of the sun uncovered where you still can't look at it comfortably.
Okay.
In other words, if the corona of the sun, that's the sun fully covered, and then the line around where the sun normally would be is called the corona, with the moon blocking the sun. And in that instance, you can look at the sun, but it can be very, very damaging to your eyes. Okay? With 20% of the sun uncovered, like it'll be here in Shreveport, you probably still won't be able to look directly at the sun, so it probably won't be a problem.
Okay.
So
in Girl Scouts, I never got the cutting the hole in the box and all that. I didn't understand that.
With 20% of the sun uncovered, which is the sun is a pretty bright star, you must admit.
Yeah.
And relatively close. So even with, as you call them, the funky glasses that you got off, the 800 number.
Sure.
You still probably won't be able to look at the sun.
Even with the glasses?
Well, because 20% of the sun's going to be uncovered.
Okay. Now, how long does it last?
A couple or 3 hours, I guess. I don't know.
And what's the prime time? Is it like noonish?
No idea.
Okay.
Couldn't begin to tell you.
It has to be later because the moon's out.
Embish will be taking a nap.
But wait a minute. The moon's out. See, I don't understand that. The moon and the sun are out together.
The moon's out for a long time. You just can't see it because it's daytime.
Okay. So will I be able to see the moon during the solar eclipse? I can see the moon, right?
You'll just see this big black dot. I feel like I'm talking to a caveman in 10,000 BC who's getting ready to sacrifice a goat because the sun's gone away.
Me hungry, full of food.
747, 1017 FM 710 Keel. For complete information on the upcoming eclipse,
fire.
Don't ask Erin.
Nice loincloth.
Who can find somebody? Find somebody to come on and tell us all about.
I will.
Third grader, perhaps?
I'll get third grader. Hush up over there. I'll tighten your loincloth.
7:48. It's there. You go. See, Ezekiel Elliott gets 6 games, and you are sexually harassing poor
Erin
Matt.
needs 6 months.
Yeah.
7:48. It's 101.7 FM. 710 KEEL. Your Money Now is coming up next.
Keeping an eye on some
7:40.
slow-moving traffic on Common Street near Texas Street in downtown Shreveport. And we have some traffic delays on Airline Drive near Barksdale Boulevard in Bossier City. If you know something we don't, accidents, hazards, or closures, give us a call at our Planet Fitness traffic hotline, 687-ROAD.
Your AccuWeather.com forecast, a shower or thunderstorm around early. Otherwise, more clouds than sun today, high 92. Some clouds, low 76 tonight. With your AccuWeather.com forecast, I'm meteorologist Heather Zayer. Your AccuWeather.com forecast, I'm meteorologist Heather Zayer.
I'm Jennifer Kishinka with Your Money.
$7:52, time for sports. Here's Fletch on KEEL.
Good morning from the sports desk of 1130 The Tiger. This is Tim Fletcher. 24-year-old Justin Thomas began Sunday's final round of the PGA Championship 2 shots off the lead. When the sun set at Quail Thomas had rallied to win his first major championship 2 shots clear of his closest pursuers. The now 4-time winner this season was 4 under par over his final 12 holes, including a birdie that took about 10 to 12 seconds to fall from the lip into the cup on the par 5 10th hole. Francesco Molinari, Patrick Reed, and Louis Oosthuizen finished tied for second at 6 under. Ricky Fowler and Hideki Matsuyama were a shot further back. The U.S. Amateur gets underway out at Riviera and Bel Air Country Clubs on the West Coast. Local representation, Sam Burns, Nathan Johnson, and Philip Barbary Jr. are all in the field starting today. And the Houston Astros snapped a 5-game losing streak. Dallas Keuchel, the former Arkansas Razorback, struck out 7 in 6 2/3 innings. Jose Altuve homered as the Astros avoided a sweep with a 2-1 win over the Rangers. From the sports desk of 1130 The Tiger, this is Tim Fletcher.
So are things a little more clear now? Is when we got a great sort of illustration from our friend Rick.
Yeah.
And it as you can see, about 75 or 80% of the sun will be covered.
Right.
By the shadow. By the moon. So you can't.
I still don't understand what the moon is doing there at 1:00 in the afternoon.
It's working overtime.
I don't get it. What's it doing there? It don't belong there.
It's there a lot.
Is it?
Yeah.
Why don't we see it there a lot?
For one day, the moon passes between the earth and the sun.
Okay.
What don't you understand about that? Why the moon's out in the daytime?
Yes.
The moon is constantly orbiting around the earth. A lot of times you just can't see the moon because it's... Good Lord.
Wait a minute. The moon moves around the earth?
You have a college degree.
And the earth is also moving.
Stop.
Okay.
You have a college degree.
I do.
What happened?
It has nothing to do with science.
Evidently.
Nothing to do with science.
I don't know which face of confusion to keep the camera on because you both have amazing facial expressions right now.
I'm fascinated how you're so puzzled by things that I learned in 2nd and 3rd grade.
What out there in space is moving right now?
Everything.
The sun doesn't move, right?
We move through the universe. We are all...
The sun doesn't move, right?
Yes, it does.
No.
Yes.
We all rotate around the sun, don't we?
Yes, but the sun, the universe is... Listen.
Don't lie. The sun doesn't move.
Listen, Einstein.
I know that one.
Google, does the sun move?
Does the sun move?
It'll say no, but the universe is shifting. The universe moves.
Does the sun move? I can get this Google thing
I'm trying
going.
to explain math to a dog.
Oh, crap. Yes, the sun, in fact, our whole solar system orbits around the center of the Milky Way galaxy. They are moving at an average velocity of 828,000 kilometers an hour. But even at that high rate, it still takes us about 230 million years to make one complete orbit around the Milky Way.
Thank you, Mr. Peabody.
Oh, man. The Milky Way is a spiral galaxy. Sorry.
Why don't you read this during the news?
Oh,
okay?
man.
Going to break. Fox News just a couple of seconds away right now. Sean Hannity coming up. You look disappointed.
I am. I thought I was right.
Sean Hannity on KEEL.
Here's the Sean Hannity Morning Minute.
So former National Security Advisor to President Obama, Susan Rice, she just can't help but dishing out terrible advice to the United States regarding the threats from a nuclear-armed North Korea. Her op-ed, New York Times, she writes that she wants Donald Trump to accept North Korea as a nuclear power. History shows we can, if we must, tolerate nuclear weapons in North Korea the same way we tolerated the far greater threat of thousands of Soviet nuclear weapons during the Cold War. On Thursday, Rice played down the threat to CNN, saying, "Fake news, we just can't react to every statement or verbal provocation." Why would you take foreign policy advice from the woman who blamed a YouTube video on the Benghazi attack? And by the way, she liked the Iranian deal also. We'll have to deal with that in a few years.
Check out the Sean Hannity radio show later today, right here.
Finding great candidates to hire can be, well, like trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter is different. It doesn't depend on candidates finding you. It finds them. With its powerful technology, ZipRecruiter distributes your job everywhere it needs to be to find the right candidates. In fact, over 80% of jobs on ZipRecruiter get a qualified candidate in just one day. So, while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, only ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
Used by businesses of all sizes, ZipRecruiter offers the most qualified job candidates with immediate results. And right now you can try ZipRecruiter free. That's right, free. Just go to ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free for your free trial. ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Highland Avenue and Kings Highway are dealing with some slow-moving traffic right now. And we're keeping an eye on some traffic delays on East Texas Street near Traffic Street in Bossier City. If you have anything to report to us, accidents, hazards, or closures, please give us a call at our Planet Fitness Traffic Hotline, 687-ROAD.
Here's your KEEL forecast as we move across the universe. Kind of cloudy, a little sun today. High today in the low 90s. Right now, 76 at KEEL.
Breaking news and trending talk. This is 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL. KEEL, Shreveport.
Good morning, 3 past 8. Robert and Erin, 101.7 FM, 710 Keel. Traffic and weather just a couple of seconds away. Updates on the way. Fletcher and sports, but Erin has news up next.
Demonstration in downtown Shreveport. We'll tell you more about that. Back to school today for Caddo youngsters and remembering a young child.
Let's see. Charlottesville, got to talk about that. Maybe a little Ezekiel Elliott. Is the penalty too harsh? And Robert and Erin, I said Ellen, Robert and Erin celebrate their 21st year.
Oh, boy.
And a couple of folks reminded me of stuff we had forgotten.
Uh-oh.
For a reason. It's all coming up this hour right here on Keel. Standards, one home at a time.
The Keel Morning Report. Now on 101.7 FM and 710 Keel.
More than 75 people gathered last night on the sidewalk in front of the Caddo Courthouse for a vigil in honor of those hurt and killed in Charlottesville, Virginia. Those at the event say they gathered to counter the message of hate and bigotry expressed by the white nationalists in Virginia. It's back to the books for Caddo students. Superintendent Dr. Lamar Gorey tells Keel News it's good news for teachers this year.
5% pay raise across the board, all employees, and no insurance increase.
School bells will be ringing this morning. Motorcycle crash in Webster Parish leaves one dead. Matt Parker with that.
Larry Dillon has died after he wrecked his motorcycle on Elmer Moore Road just north of Highway 160 Sunday night. According to state troopers, Dillon left the roadway and hit a wooden cross tie. He was not wearing a helmet at the time of the crash and was pronounced dead at the scene. Impairment is suspected to be a factor in the wreck. From 101.7 FM and 710 Keel, I'm Matt Parker.
More than 100 relatives, friends, and community members gathered at Winfield Funeral Home to pay final respects to Deshaun Combest, the 7-year-old boy who tragically died after being swept away in a drainage ditch August 3rd. A GoFundMe account was set up to help pay for the family's expenses. The Professional Firefighters Credit Union also set up an account to help the family. An Alexandria man has died after contracting West Nile virus. Health officials urge the public, protect yourself. Dr. David Holcomb with the Office of Public Health says the virus is transmitted by household mosquitoes that are common in our state, but there are ways you can keep the bugs away.
Clean up their yards, get rid of any standing water, wear long sleeves, and use DEET or some other repellent during any time that they're outside.
A 10-member panel will look to ensure the long-term financial stability of TOPS. Since the program began in '98, the state has spent $2.6 billion on students. However, with rising costs and continuing budget woes, funding the program is becoming more and more difficult. A joint group of state lawmakers forecasting a fiscal cliff of $1.5 billion for the next budget year. However, many lawmakers feel that projection is much higher than the actual number. Officials say the majority of the shortfall is due to a penny sales tax expiring. A newly formed PAC supporting cops in the state is trying to get the word out about who they are and what they're about. Chris Stewart is executive director of the Louisiana Law Enforcement PAC. He says their group plans to tackle matters that affect police officers statewide.
From the legislative issues to elections to just general basic information that the public can't get from officers because of restrictions that they have them.
The glitzy 90th birthday bash for Louisiana's four-term former Governor Edwin Edwards drew a packed house, including the state's current chief executive and other elected officials. It was a $250 per ticket event, drew more than 500 people. Next week's stunning solar eclipse in the U.S. will generate as much science as oohs and ahs. From the discovery of helium to proving Einstein right, great science often comes out of eclipses. NASA and others will monitor this eclipse with an armada of satellites, airplanes, balloons, and citizen scientists looking up from the ground. Cloudy today, the high temp close to 93, 76 now. I'm Erin McCarty from 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL.
Nine past 8, 101.7 FM, 710 KEEL traffic update. Rapid Ruben.
The intersection at Hearn Avenue and Milam Street's dealing with some slow-moving traffic right now. And we're still keeping an eye on some backed-up traffic on Benton Road just north of I-220 in Bossier City. If you have anything to report to us, accidents, hazards, or closures, give us a call at our Planet Fitness Traffic Hotline, 687-ROAD.
Your AccuWeather.com forecast. Cloudy to partly sunny today. A shower or thunderstorm around early in the day. High 92. Warm with some clouds and a low of 76 tonight. With your AccuWeather.com forecast, I'm meteorologist Heather Zayer.
Good morning. It's 12 past 8. Robert and Erin, 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL. President Trump is getting a lot of criticism from those on the political left because they feel as though his condemnation of the violence in Charlottesville this weekend, that he didn't go far enough to specify the Nazis and the white supremacists.
Right.
Did you read what he had to say? Did you read his statement?
His comments were perfectly fine. And when I saw all that nonsense about, he didn't go far enough. I'm like, really?
We condemn in the strongest possible terms this egregious display of hatred, bigotry, and violence on many sides. Now, it's the same people, interestingly, that are criticizing Trump for not going far enough in his condemnation of what is referred to as the alt-right, which we'll cover here in a couple of seconds.
Yeah.
But it's the same people that are all over the president because they don't think he went far enough in his condemnation of the Nazis and the white supremacists who gave President Obama, a pass for never saying anything specifically noting Muslim terrorism.
Yeah.
Now, I don't for a second think President Obama was in favor of Muslim terrorists.
No.
Just because he didn't say the word. In fact, McAuliffe, the governor of Virginia, was asked by Raheem Kassem of Breitbart on 3 occasions, will you condemn the Antifa people who were here? And he would not, despite the fact, hang on, I've got a New York Times deal right here, from Cheryl Gay Stolberg, New York Times. The hard left, meaning Antifa, in fact, she makes a reference. The hard left seemed as hate-filled as the alt-right. I saw club-wielding Antifa members beating white nationalists being led out of the park. Here's an interesting Facebook post I saw yesterday. I don't believe in abortion, but women have a right to do it. I don't believe in white supremacy, but members have a right to demonstrate. Just because I don't believe in something doesn't mean those people don't have a right to exercise their rights.
Right.
Freedom of speech doesn't just apply to what we agree with in this country. And he goes on to say, there was no violence reported until the counter-protesters, Antifa, started clashing with the alt-right protesters.
It's the divisiveness in this country is just gotten so crazy.
Do you think we're that divisive, or do you think that the media reports that, look, if you put two hate-filled groups together, aren't the chances there's going to be a fight? Aren't the chances that something bad's going to happen? Aren't there chances, and I'm not talking about the Fields guy driving the car over people, that was, as reported, a guy who was not on his antipsychotic meds. Admittedly, a Nazi sympathizer. Admittedly, an alt-right guy filled with hate.
Sure.
But if you take Nazis and white supremacists and put them in the same area with Antifa, who has a history of violence, is there any wonder, is there any surprise that a fight broke out? How can you not expect that to happen?
I understand, and they were countering, and I get that.
Wait a minute, what do you get? Do you think the Antifa people went there to be violent?
I would hope not, but I don't know.
I would guarantee you they did.
You think?
Yes.
And they were planning to be violent?
I think so.
Were they?
Of course. What did the New York Times reporters just say? I just read you a quote from a New York Times reporter. The left-wingers, Antifa, were just as violent or more so. And the way this is being framed, and I see it all over Facebook, I saw it last night, all day yesterday, as though you have to pick sides. I saw a post, if you're a Nazi sympathizer, get off my page.
Yeah.
Another one said, and it was this meme, this Brad Pitt meme from the Bastards movie. What is it?
Inglourious Bastards.
Thank you. Where he's speaking ill of Nazis. Well, how ballsy do you have to be to speak ill of Nazis? Who likes Nazis? Nobody. But
yeah.
the way the term Nazi, the way the definition of fascist is being expanded by the media, and you're going to see this all this week. It's just, right now, you're a racist in America if you think we should have a border. That's the way it's framed by the CNNs or the MSNBCs or the networks of the world. And to much the same degree, the definition of Republican or conservative or Trump supporter is going to be lumped into alt-right, Nazi, white supremacist because that's what they're going to do.
Yeah.
So when you see on Facebook, what side are you taking? You know what side I take? Neither one.
Neither one, exactly.
They're a bunch of...
They're both crazy.
A bunch of horrible people.
Mm-hmm.
Just lousy people. I choose... I'm not buying the template. I pick not to pick.
I'm with you.
18 past 8 o'clock, 101.7 FM, 710 KEEL traffic and weather, and Fletcher and sports. Up next on KEEL. Nineteen past 8. Traffic time on KEEL. Here's Ruben.
The intersection at Hearn Avenue and Milam Street's dealing with some slow-moving traffic right now. And we're still keeping an eye on some backed-up traffic on Benton Road just north of I-220 in Bossier City. If you have anything to report to us, accidents, hazards, or closures, give us a call at our Planet Fitness Traffic Hotline, 687-ROAD.
Your AccuWeather.com forecast, a shower or thunderstorm around early. Otherwise, more clouds than sun today, high 92. Some clouds, low 76 tonight. With your AccuWeather.com forecast, I'm meteorologist Heather Zayer.
Time for sports. Fletcher on KEEL.
Good morning from the sports desk of 1130 The Tiger. This is Tim Fletcher. 24-year-old Justin Thomas began Sunday's final round of the PGA Championship 2 shots off the lead. When the sun set at Quail Thomas had rallied to win his first major championship 2 shots clear of his closest pursuers. The now 4-time winner this season was 4 under par over his final 12 holes, including a birdie that took about 10 to 12 seconds to fall from the lip into the cup on the par 5 10th hole. Francesco Molinari, Patrick Reed, and Louis Oosthuizen finished tied for second at 6 under. Ricky Fowler and Hideki Matsuyama were a shot further back. The U.S. Amateur gets underway out at Riviera and Bel Air Country Clubs on the West Coast. Local representation, Sam Burns, Nathan Johnson, and Philip Barbary Jr. are all in the field starting today. And the Houston Astros snapped a 5-game losing streak. Dallas Keuchel, the former Arkansas Razorback, struck out 7 in 6 2/3 innings. Jose Altuve homered as the Astros avoided a sweep with a 2-1 win over the Rangers. From the sports desk of 1130 The Tiger, this is Tim Fletcher.
So, in much the same way...
No, I'm not this big of an idiot, folks.
101.7 FM, 710 KEEL.
It's an act.
We'll cover that. We'll come more
complete act.
More eclipse stuff is on the way. I promise.
Yeah. Thank you. I'll explain it all. I know it all.
Hank Aaron is in the Hall of Fame.
Yes, of course.
Second greatest home run hitter of all time.
Mm-hmm.
And
Hank.
And Hank Aaron accrued his amazing stats over a long career of excellence.
Mm-hmm.
He, unlike Babe Ruth or Barry Bonds or Mark McGwire, he never had the one amazing. He never hit 50 home runs in a season. So basically, when you say Hank Aaron, his body of it is a body of work.
Yes, over his career.
Over his career that has put him in baseball's Hall of Fame, and he is acclaimed as one of the greatest baseball players, easily top 10 of all time.
No doubt.
In much the same way that Hank Aaron is being praised for his body of work, it's probably the body of work, his body of work, that has gotten Ezekiel Elliott suspended for 6 games.
Yes. That's a good way to put it.
Thank you.
It's a good way to put it.
It's not just one thing.
Right.
It's his body of work over not a 20-year period, but over a summer.
It would be like if you were driving our company vehicles and you hit a curb one day and bent the rim. Then the next day you backed into another car and you dented the bumper. Then the next day you hit a pole in front of a store and you broke out a headlight. Well, at some point, the company's going to go, he can't keep driving our company cars. We got to stop this.
So it started off, he had 2 accusations of domestic violence. No charges were filed. There were, if you read the police reports, when you see the district attorney's explanation that it was, I can't think of the word, information and testimony, conflicting testimony.
Yes.
And you go in and look. Yeah, there's a lot of shady stuff on both sides. And no charges were filed. So my question to you in the 6 o'clock hour was, is this the NFL being overly sensitive to domestic violence, given the Ray Rice and a couple of other things, where Roger Goodell was accused of sort of looking the other way, of being too soft on domestic abusers? Is this him reacting or warding off that kind of criticism, given the fact that no charges were filed against Elliott? Or is this a case of where Ezekiel Elliott, because of the attitude of the NFL toward domestic abusers, guilty or not, the accusation, where the burden of proof was on Elliott and his representatives, where he had to prove himself innocent rather than the NFL find him guilty?
Yes. This is just the like you said, the body of work has accumulated against him.
He had that the St. Patrick's Day incident where he, as we used to say in high school, old Zeke got to second base. The bad news, it was on camera. Everything's on camera. And evidently he didn't think, look, if you're with the Dallas Cowboys, if you are a star, whether you like it or not, you have to live your life as though the camera's on you all the time.
Mr. Squeaky, everywhere you go. Because there's cameras everywhere.
And then he had the bar fight, and the explanation, it was likened to the Charles Barkley bar fight. If you know the story, and then Charles Barkley, and he picked up a guy and threw him through a window. In the Ezekiel Elliott incident, the case has been made that the guy wouldn't leave him alone.
Right.
But at some point, if you're Ezekiel Elliott, not the woman involved in this, not the NFL, not the guy in the bar that was bugging him in the bar.
Right.
But if you're Ezekiel Elliott, and it's a phrase you've heard me use before, let's assume for the moment 2 domestic battery complaints, and let's say you're innocent in both instances. Let's say that the woman that was just bad timing, you got a little silly, you've had a couple of drinks, and you just went a little overboard. And let's say that in that bar, that guy was just a pain in the ass and wouldn't leave you alone and deserved to get hit in the nose. But at some point, if you're Ezekiel Elliott, the star running back on America's team, and you are constantly in the public eye. The phrase is, Domino's delivers.
Yeah.
Stay home.
Absolutely.
Domino's delivers. Stay home. At some point, you got to figure out there's a target on, if you are totally innocent. At some point, you got to understand there's a target on your back.
Yes.
And that people are out to get you. And you don't want to accrue a body of work that is the total inverse of Hank Aaron. One of them, 20 years of excellence.
Exactly.
One of them, a summer of freaking disaster. 28 past 8 o'clock, 101.7 FM, 710 Keel traffic and weather. And Erin has local news up next. Twenty-nine past 8 o'clock. 29 past 8, 101.7 FM, 710 Keel traffic.
The intersection at West 70th Street and Linwood Avenue is dealing with some slow-moving traffic right now. And we have some traffic delays on Shed Road near Airline Drive in Bossier City. If you have anything to report to us, accidents, hazards, or closures, give us a call at our Planet Fitness traffic hotline, 687-ROAD.
Your AccuWeather.com forecast, a shower or thunderstorm around early. Otherwise, more clouds than sun today, high 92. Some clouds, low 76 tonight. With your AccuWeather.com forecast, I'm meteorologist Heather Zayer.
The power of information. Keel News now.
The school bell rings in Caddo Parish today as students return to class. Superintendent Dr. Lamar Gorey telling Keel News he does look to other districts who are doing things to keep teachers in their parishes.
Talk to my friend Dr. Brumley down in DeSoto. He'll tell you that one of the things that certainly made a huge difference in the academic success of that district is TAP. So we're excited to kind of follow the lead of DeSoto there.
TAP is a way to give teachers performance-based compensation. More than 75 people gathered last night on a sidewalk in front of the Caddo Courthouse in honor of those hurt and killed in Charlottesville, Virginia. Those at the event say they gathered to counter the message of hate and bigotry expressed by the white nationalists in Virginia. A joint group of state reps and senators forecasting a fiscal cliff of $1.5 billion for next fiscal year. However, many lawmakers feel that projection is much higher than the actual number. Panel hoping to stabilize TOPS funding. Matt Parker has that.
A 10-member panel made of both House and state members will look to ensure the long-term financial stability of TOPS. Since the program started in 1998, the state has spent $2.6 billion on students. However, with rising costs and continuing budget woes, funding the program is becoming more and more difficult. Some lawmakers want to make it tougher for students to receive a TOPS scholarship. Currently, to be awarded TOPS funding, students must achieve a 2.5 GPA. Other lawmakers want to make the program needs-based instead of merit-based. The panel will begin work on a solution September 6th. From 101.7 FM and 710 Keel, I'm Matt Parker.
Family and friends say goodbye to Deshaun Combest. More than 100 relatives, friends, and community members gathered at Winfield Funeral Home to pay final respects to the child. He tragically died after being swept away in a storm ditch on August 3rd. Motorcycle crash in Webster Parish leaves one dead. Larry Dillon has died after he wrecked his motorcycle on Elmer Moore Road, just north of Highway 160. According to troopers, Dillon left the roadway and hit a wooden crosstie. He was not wearing a helmet at the time. Impairment is suspected. A newly formed PAC supporting cops trying to get the word out about who they are and what they're about. Chris Stewart is executive director. He says they independently support police across the state by promoting candidates for office and policies that help officers serve and protect. He says there are many ways that need to be addressed to deal with the recruiting problem.
Like pay, safety equipment needs to be improved for officers. Benefits, a pension plan needs to be in place that's solid and attracts people to it.
The American workplace is grueling, stressful, and surprisingly hostile. A new study from Harvard Medical School and UCLA finds nearly 1 in 5 workers say they face a hostile or threatening environment at work, which can include sexual harassment and bullying. Nearly 55% say they face unpleasant and potentially hazardous conditions. Maroon 5's Adam Levine teasing the audience while accepting the Decade Award at the Teen Choice Awards last night.
Thank you. Our 6th and final album is coming out in November. I'm just kidding. Man, I'm joking. We are never going to go away.
The show aired on Fox from Los Angeles. No Powerball winner over the weekend, so the jackpot climbs to $430 million, the 8th largest lottery jackpot in U.S. history. You can see the full list of the biggest jackpots at KEELnews.com. Cloudy today, the high 93, right now 76. I'm Erin McCarty on 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL.
.101.7 FM and 710 KEEL. Robert J. Wright and Erin McCarty, girl scientist. Okay, just stay right there.
I know all about this stuff. I was
right
joking.
There. Stay right there. We've got an explanation. Matt, stand up. Okay. Now the camera is on me right now?
Yes.
Okay, because we're streaming on the KEEL Facebook page. Okay. Now imagine Erin and I sit at opposite. Put the camera on Erin.
Yeah, okay. It's on me now. All right.
She's at the west end of the table. Okay, back to me.
Yeah.
At the east end of the table.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Matt's back faces north, which doesn't matter for it, but just to give you a sense of the room.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, here's how an eclipse works, okay?
Okay.
Okay, Matt, you stay there. All right?
All right.
Talk a little loud because I'm off mic.
Yeah.
Okay.
Robert's
Matt,
standing
stand
up.
Take your headphones off.
Matt's going to stand up.
Okay.
Can this camera still see you if I move this camera?
No,
Don't touch that.
Don't
Okay.
Touch that.
All right.
touch anything, okay? Now, we're gonna end up, okay?
Wait, who's the sun and moon and all?
You're the Earth.
I'm the Earth. I like that. Mother Earth.
I'm the sun.
Okay.
Matt's the moon.
Okay.
Okay.
Matt's
Let's
the
walk
moon.
like we're in orbit. Slow orbit. Okay, wait. Okay, here I am. I'm the sun. Hello, I am the sun.
Yeah.
Here comes Moon Matt. Okay,
Moon
now.
Matt.
Okay, so what do we have right now?
Oh, we have a solar eclipse because Moon Matt is between Mother Earth and the sun.
What do we have now? Abject humiliation.
Shame.
Okay.
Oh, man. Okay, I think I got this.
You got a handle on it
It's
now?
a week from today, about 1 o'clock. our time.
The greatest coverage of the sun by the moon
Mhm.
will be about 1:15, but it will start, the eclipse will begin at about 9:30 to quarter till 10 in the morning.
Okay.
So, since you have spent the last hour or so defending yourself against the slings of our listeners who say, she can't be that, no, she's not quite that bad.
Not quite that
Now you want me to ask you what you did yesterday.
Yeah, Robert, the Powerball drawing Saturday night, I didn't win. So it's climbed to $430 million, the 8th largest in history.
Well, congratulations in
So
advance.
what I do typically is I'll go hunt for cars or houses or whatever. Oh, no. This got bad.
You bought a yacht.
This got bad. I'm actually chatting with a New York real estate agent. Wanted to make sure that the condo I'm buying can see the ball drop from its windows. I am literally online chatting with a real estate agent going, nope, it's got to be able to see Times Square, and I want to be able to see the ball drop from one of my windows.
For the one night a year I'll be spending in the Big Apple.
I don't want to be 8 blocks away.
At some point, did this real estate agent ask you the source of your wealth?
No. Sorta. I said something about Haynesville Shale.
Mm-hmm.
That's all I said. Which is a little bit true.
No, it's a little bit of a lie.
But I said, I'm thinking about making a purchase between now and the new year, but I want my purchase to be, I want to be able to see the ball drop.
How long were you on?
It was just a chat.
How much of this person's time did you waste?
About an hour.
839, 1017 FM, 710 Keel. Traffic update coming up now. Here's Ruben.
The intersection at West 70th Street and Linwood Avenue is dealing with some slow-moving traffic right now. And we have some traffic delays on Shed Road near Airline Drive in Bossier City. If you have anything to report to us, accidents, hazards, or closures, give us a call at our Planet Fitness Traffic Hotline, 687-ROAD.
Your AccuWeather.com forecast, a shower or thunderstorm around early. Otherwise, more clouds than sun today, high 92. Some clouds, low 76 tonight. With your AccuWeather.com forecast, I'm meteorologist Heather Zayer.
Hi, my name is Erin. I have worked for
You know, that last segment, 841, it's 1017 FM, 710 Keel.
Yeah.
You can download the Keel app. It's awesome, presented by Office Furniture Source.
Mhm.
That may have been the first scientific demonstration in nigh on more than 2 decades of the Robert and Erin Show.
Is it?
That may be our first scientific explanation.
No,
Science.
no, when we played Twister.
No,
Well, that
but
was like a
that wasn't
physics
on- that
demonstration.
wasn't on video.
No, it wasn't on video.
We
Wasn't
now have video capabilities
Oh.
to catch your stupidity.
You're right.
Whoa! Not wrong, just whoa.
We need to recreate that radio Twister.
No, we don't.
Because I want a rematch.
No, I lost a leg. I mentioned 21 years. Saturday.
Yes.
We mentioned this a couple of times Friday. On Saturday was actually the 21st anniversary of our starting to work together, August 12th of 1996, which was, I know.
21
That's if you had
It
told
just blink.
if you had said to me on that day, August 12, 1996, when we were literally in the next door studio on
Yep.
94.5,
Mhm.
in 21 years, you guys are still going to be working together.
No,
just 3 stations down, but never more than 2 or 3 doors down the hall.
Yeah.
I would have said, no, I've been in radio too long. That stuff like that just
Do you
doesn't
know
happen.
What people ask me? I'm sure you get this question too. What makes it work?
We don't talk to each other.
We don't. We rarely socialize. And now and then, because KEEL is a little bit of a different breed, we have to text
we
in the
talk
afternoon
during the day, but
to say, hey, I've got this, or if you've got something, is that okay? Or too bad it's not okay. It doesn't matter. But it's like we'll just text and say, heads up, this person's coming.
I'd say the secret is a lack of emotional, is just total indifference to the other.
But truly,
the sad part is he's not lying.
He's so bad.
Because somehow I get drug into your text message conversations with each other. And it's just like, we're doing this.
But truly, and this is going to sound sappy, if I were to get arrested, you'd probably be in the top 5 of bail money.
Well, yeah, because when you win the lottery, you're going to give me $1 million and I can bail you out.
You're on the list for $1 million. There's only a few people on that list.
2 Robert and Erin things that on Friday we were talking about the best moments of.
Yeah.
And we talked about the haunted houses. We talked about the whale in the river, the April Fool's joke, and a couple that we neglected to mention. One was when we were in Dallas, what we call Scotch and Sugar.
Oh, yeah.
And the other was, if you don't know that story, I'll tell you in a second, and I'll save the other, because we just had the Landers Dodge. We just had Denny Rogers.
Yes.
We were still, it was a KVKI, and it was the Survive to Drive contest.
Oh, dear
where
Lord.
like 7 people lived in a van for a week.
Stinkiness.
And that was just, it was the most revealing, revealing look at human nature and specifically how people can manipulate each other in such close quarters that it was absolutely amazing. I'll tell you that tomorrow. The Scotch and Sugar story, if you don't know.
Pardon my behavior that night, please.
So we ended up going to Dallas to do a TV commercial.
Yeah.
This is in the latter days of us working on 94.5. And we went to Dallas. We were owned by Clear Channel at the time. So we went to Dallas to the Clear Channel studios, big facility in Dallas, to do a TV commercial. And we get over there, we do the commercial, we take care of all of that. There was a tornado that night. Remember the touchdown about like less than a mile from where we were?
Yes.
Sirens are going off. We had to lay down on the floor. And we end up going, it was, what was the name of the restaurant? It eludes me. There's still one still open. One is closed. It was in Highland Park where we went.
Houston's?
Houston's, thank you.
Yeah, that's where we went.
So we go to Houston's, and we have a couple of drinks before dinner, and Erin has a couple of drinks during dinner. And then after dinner, we retire to the restaurant bar to have another drink or two. And at this point, with all respect to you, you were just a little
tipsy,
lit up.
Yeah.
And so she starts talking to the bartender and telling him her life story.
A social butterfly.
And he says, well, where are you from? She says, Shreveport.
More like a social gnat.
And he said, well, why are you in Dallas? Well, we're a radio station, and we're here to do a commercial.
Yeah.
For our station.
Mm-hmm.
And he says, really? And she gives a little detail, and at one point he asks, so in all your years in radio, who's the most famous person you've ever met?
Oh, boy.
And Erin says, without a moment's hesitation, Aretha Franklin.
Met Aretha.
The thing is, Erin's never met Aretha Franklin.
Never met. Dream would be to meet Aretha Franklin.
But she doesn't stop there. And she says, not only have I met Aretha Franklin.
Can I leave now?
Here comes lie number 2. Not only have I met Aretha Franklin, because it went from Aretha to Aretha.
Aretha, yeah.
Aretha Franklin.
Oh, I should have been smoking some reefer.
I've been drinking with Aretha Franklin. And the bartender looks at her and says, really? Like he's really interested. I love Aretha Franklin, the guy says. You really? She goes, yeah. And the bartender says, So what's Aretha's favorite drink? And Erin, again, not missing a beat, says, Scotch and sugar.
That was line number 3.
Now, there's about 8 or 10 people at the bar. It's kind of late at night. It's a weeknight. It's probably about 10:30 or quarter till 11.
Yep.
And they're getting ready to shut down. And there's maybe 8 people left at the bar. And the bartender says, what's Aretha's favorite drink? And Erin goes, Scotch and sugar. At which point the bartender says, okay then, Scotch and sugar for everybody.
Oh, man.
And the bartender made
Scotch and sugar.
Scotch and sugar. Yeah. And he at one point asks Erin, how much sugar do you put in? She said, sugar to taste. Now, that's not...
Don't try this at home, kids.
That's not something that happened on the radio.
No.
But in the scheme of Robert and Erin moments, in the grand panorama of Robert and Erin moments.
We had a drunk on the radio moment, too.
That is near the very top.
Ooh-wee.
That was you also.
Yeah.
It's 849, 1017 FM, 710 KEEL. Let's go right to traffic. Here comes Ruben, and he's on KEEL.
The intersection at West 70th Street and Linwood Avenue is dealing with some slow-moving traffic right now. And we have some traffic delays on Shed Road near Airline Drive in Bossier City. If you have anything to report to us, accidents, hazards, or closures, give us a call at our Planet Fitness Traffic Hotline, 687-ROAD.
Your AccuWeather.com forecast, a shower or thunderstorm around early. Otherwise, more clouds than sun today, high 92. Some clouds, low 76 tonight. With your AccuWeather.com forecast, I'm meteorologist Heather Zayer.
Name the high school Barack Obama High School. Do you know he would be here with Michelle for the big groundbreaking ribbon cutting? He would help get funds for it. Renaming it. Now, I don't know about mascot yet. I'd have to work on that.
Brahma Bulls, the Obama Brahmas.
Barack Obama High School.
Especially since, in my opinion, he was 8 years a bull, but that's neither here.
Start your day with Robert and Erin in the morning. 1017 FM and 710 KEEL. And Erin in the morning, 1017 FM and 710 KEEL.
I'm Jennifer Kish.
It's 8 away from 9 o'clock, 1017 FM, 710 KEEL. Here's sports.
Good morning from the sports desk of 1130 The Tiger. This is Tim Fletcher. 24-year-old Justin Thomas began Sunday's final round of the PGA Championship 2 shots off the lead. When the sun set at Quail Hollow, Thomas had rallied to win his first major championship, 2 shots clear of his closest pursuers. The now 4-time winner this season was 4 under par over his final 12 holes, including a birdie that took about 10 to 12 seconds to fall from the lip into the cup on the par 5 10th hole. Francesco Molinari, Patrick Reed, and Louis Oosthuizen finished tied for second at 6 under. Ricky Fowler and Hideki Matsuyama were a shot further back. The U.S. Amateur gets underway out at Riviera and Bel Air Country Clubs on the West Coast. Local representation, Sam Burns, Nathan Johnson, and Philip Barbary Jr. are all in the field starting today. And the Houston Astros snapped a 5-game losing streak. Dallas Keuchel, the former Arkansas Razorback, struck out 7 in 6 2/3 innings. Jose Altuve homered as the Astros avoided a sweep with a 2-1 win over the Rangers. From the sports desk of 1130 The Tiger, this is Tim Fletcher.
Robert J. Wright and Erin McCarty here again for Twin City Appliance. I kind of like this. I made a little tie together last hour when I was talking about the flooding in New Orleans, and I had said because all the flood pumps in New Orleans, none of them worked, and they don't know what to do, and they still not working. And I said if they'd called Twin City Appliance, not only the streets of New Orleans would be dry. If Mitch Landrieu only had the foresight to call Twin City Appliance to fix the flood turbines in New Orleans. Now, if you're like Erin, at your house you probably don't have anything that large, although the freezer in her spare room is pretty big.
It's a whopper.
Twin City Appliance. Run down the list of major appliances they can and will repair.
Your washer, dryer, fridge, ice maker, oven, range, cooktop, microwave, compactor, whatever is plugged in, they can fix it.
And their techs are factory trained, and they are trained throughout the year, constantly updated. All brands, no matter that brand's original price.
If you're like New Orleans and you got something on the blink, give Twin City Appliance a call today, 318-688-0253, or check them out online, twincityappliance.com.
Stand by, dummies.
Saw my mic go on, didn't you? Thanks for cleaning that up.
I did.
856, 1017 FM, 710 Keel. So you know all about the eclipse. Now you're putting a list. Who knew there were so many eclipse parties?
There's tons of eclipse parties. I did not know.
Is that going up today, by the way?
Yeah, it's going up today.
Okay, so basically everything you need to know about the eclipse next Monday, 1 week from today.
Because I'm sharing all my info.
Across the
I know everything about it now.
Back tomorrow morning, 6 till 9, 1017 FM, 710 Keel. Here's Kim Commando.
Ando here with your Monday Digital Consumer Tech Update. After more than a year of rumors, leaks, and hype, Apple's iPhone 8 is coming next month. The 10th anniversary iPhone is going to be huge, but millions of iPhone 8 buyers will also be sellers. When they get their new phone, they're going to sell the old one. So here are 3 ways to help you sell quickly and protect yourself from getting ripped off. First, use the phone's reset option to return it back to original